If you've spent any time with indie games, then you're most likely really familiar with roguelikes. It has gotten a big boost in popularity these recent years. New releases such as Bellow or Hades have been getting critical acclaim and really putting a lot of eyes on the genre. But although these games are extremely good, we should not ignore some of the previously released titles. And today, folks, I wish to cover a game that really hasn't gotten enough attention these recent years. Enter the Gungeon. Now then, what even is Enter the Gungeon? Well, Enter the Gungeon is an action roguelike that was released back in 2016, developed by Team Dodgerole. In the game, we follow a band of misfits called the Gungeon Is, as they seek for the ultimate treasure, a gun that kills the past. Unfortunately, it lays deep within the Gungeon's many floors, and so to get the treasures, you have to loot, dodge and shoot your way through all the enemies that get in your way. Now that's all the fluff covered, what about the gameplay here? Well, it's a dungeon crawler with bullet hell combat. So you explore each floor, seeking loot and other helpful items, while defeating enemies, slowly progressing. Getting further and further until you meet your untimely demise, only to realize you now have to start over on the first floor again. It's your classic roguelike loop. So then, why do I think this game is so great? What about Enter the Gungeon makes me prefer it to over so many games like it? Well, let's dive into it. When you first boot up the game, you will be introduced to the Breach. This is a small hub world, where especially in the start, you're really limited to stuff to do here. You can do a short tutorial and start the game. That's basically it. But it also serves as the main way of progression here, where slowly you unlock more options, such as shops that add more items to the item pool, and NPCs that give you quests and such. It's not a deep progression system, but it's neat nonetheless. Now, to actually start enjoying the game, you're gonna have to start the game. And by jumping down the gates here, you really start playing the game. So, the gameplay. You want to reach floor 5 and beat the game, right? But to do so, first you're gonna have to get through the other 5 floors and the 5 bosses. And to realistically do that, you're gonna need some better gear. Now, I feel like it's a good time to mention that all the characters have got different starting equipment. Some have got better weapons, whilst others have got better abilities. I would really recommend trying every character out and see which one you prefer. Now that you found your player character of choice, then it's time to start playing. Oh, right, I forgot to mention. This game is extremely hard. Step 1 in getting better in Enter the Gungeon is realize you will die. And you will die a lot. The game is not easy. Enemies will spawn out of nowhere and attack you instantly. They might not give you a decent gun and expect you to defeat massive bosses with a pea shooter. But each and every time you do die, you learn that little bit more. The next time you might get that little bit further. And that's what's so much fun about the game, or roguelikes in general. It's the progression of the player's abilities that's so much fun. But that being said, there's nothing wrong with getting some helpful advice on how to survive for longer. So here's my official guide on how to not die instantly in Enter the Gungeon. Number 1. Is focus on avoiding attacks over aiming. This is the most important tip here. When you first start playing, most people really struggle with both aiming and shooting, and dodging attacks, which makes sense. That's a lot to handle at once. So priority 1 is looking at where enemy attacks are and avoiding them, and just blind fire at their general direction. This is going to make avoiding attacks so much easier, and should make you last that little bit longer. Number 2. Only use keys when you're sure it's worth it. The keys in this game are pretty rare. Sometimes you only get 1 or 2 keys per floor, and with the amount of stuff that requires them, you're really gonna ask yourself if that brown chest is really worth opening. Maybe it's better to save that key to make sure you can open another actually good chest in a deeper chamber. Number 3. Chest rooms are the most common place for secret rooms. Make sure to fire off a few bullets into each side of the chest rooms and look for cracks that form. If you do find something, you can use a blank to open them up, where inside you'll find lots of different good stuff. Number 4. Don't panic, especially in boss rooms. Panicking and losing focus is the main way you mess up and take damage. So try to stay calm and walk around the projectiles. This goes for all enemies, not just bosses, but most time walking around the bullets is often better than dodge rolling, since you have got more control over your movement. So that was my official guide for helping you survive slightly longer in the Gungeon. And with that, let's wrap this up. Enter the Gungeon is a game that really means a lot to me. It was the game that made me fall in love with the roguelike genre. And honestly, I still think it's one of the best. It's stuffed full with personality and charm, with such an addicting gameplay loop. It truly is one of the best roguelikes out there, and I really hope you give this game a try. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, I guess.